All right, welcome everybody once again to the PCS Spring Split 2022. After that last game, a very close call, but DCG getting the win in the end. Our playoff picture is narrowed a little bit, and we still are guaranteed some tiebreakers, but it does seem that the number is going to be a little bit less. But before we get into our next matches, I do want to take a wonderful moment. And for our wonderful sponsors, CTBC Bank and Caliber, thank you so much for sponsoring this league and making it possible this split. Now, Clement, this next match is the only one that doesn't have anything to do with tiebreakers, because PSG are locked into first seed and Hurricane Gaming are locked out of playoffs in ninth. But that does mean that we could have some fun.
Exactly. I will petition for PSG to be removed from the league if they do not showcase any unique champions this game, okay? Esports is about entertainment. So PSG, please get something unique on the board. You can just have fun. It doesn't have to be relevant. You don't have to have practiced it. You know, I want to see Hanabi just taking Aurelia, trying to like throw it down with ICU or put him in the ICU and just have like a fun and crazy bloodbath.
Oh my goodness, the gauntlet has been thrown. I hope PSG are listening because I would love to see that happen. I think this is a squad that has just had such an impeccable macro sense. It's how they've gotten to this point at the top level, and they still have incredibly strong mechanical players in just about every role. Very few points the teams can attack them on. With all that certainty, why not do something crazy? Let's roll for an ARAM comp and see what happens against the likes of Hurricane Gaming. And for Hurricane 2, you know, the pressure's off. They're already out of playoffs. They're not the last place team. They can kick back and relax. I want to see some crazy stuff coming out. Olio's been playing all sorts of weird jungle picks all season long. Let's give him something absolutely out there. Let's see if ICU can get another Aurelia game in if it doesn't get taken away. And honestly, I want to see Bang 2 just styling, because obviously he's up against Unified, but he's been the most consistent performer on this squad, and I would like to see it happen. But here is PSG Talent, our blue side team for today. Hanabi, Juhan, Bei, Unified, and Kaiwing. Still the kings of the PCS, you have to say. Until proven otherwise, they are top of the league, have themselves a number of titles under their belt consecutively, and they have always gotten that number one seed going all the way back to the early days in 2020. Was the last time they didn't get it, I believe, was their debut split.
Yeah, like PSG has been very consistent as an organization, and I think they've always made great player and coaching procurement choices here. Corey, for me, is the most important cornerstone of PSG. Honestly, I was not very impressed with PSG's game yesterday. They had a massive lead, but they still played the longest game of the PCS at 46 minutes. Mechanically, this team needs a shakeup. I think they've been playing way too macro-focused to the point that it's actually degraded their mechanics, and that definitely is a thing. Like we've heard from you know, like EDG coaches or some of the LCK staff, where if you play too macro oriented for too long of a stretch and you don't just throw down here and there, it actually makes you play worse because you're not always challenging yourself. You're not limit testing. So I do want to see PCG get out of their comfort zone. I want to see Bei actually showcase some crazy individual mechanics. And against this team here, Chacha, Alio, and ICU, Bang 2 as well, I think there's a possibility for this to be a more scattered and a more skirmish-oriented game.
Absolutely. I think we could see it here if Hurricane can give a challenge to our reigning champions, and PSG, they certainly should take it up, try to flex a little bit. They won't be one of those teams that has to play in the tiebreakers, so they get a whole week off to rest up, to train up, to get ready, and in fact, they get a whole nother week because they have a bye in the first round. So why not start your training now? Enter the hyperbolic time chamber and get yourselves some practice on some weird stuff. Unified versus Bang 2 is going to be our featured matchup, and I think this makes so much sense because I think these are the best two players on their teams.
Yeah, it could be the case very much. I still want to put my vote for ICU. But
he's up there. He's definitely up there, and so is Hanabi, for the record.
Exactly. Bang 2 definitely is close here. I feel like this split, we saw a lot of unique champions. He played the Twitch, he played the Tristana before anyone else. The big question is, you know, what does his Zeri sort of look like? Will he be hopping on maybe the Samira train? Will either of these players be going in that direction after the 12.5 buffs? And also another champion that I think, if I'm from PSG, I would want to show is the Draven. Because if I can't pick the Draven, it puts a lot of pressure on people who want to first pick Zeri. That's a matchup that goes very poorly for the Zeri. But with the Zeri off the
And away.
table, probably not going to happen.
Yeah. Worth noting, Hurricane did have a very close game yesterday against Metal Falcon team that also went very long. We had some very long games yesterday, actually. Not just MFT Hurricane, Impunity versus Frank took a while, bit of a pause in there as well. And then the men you mentioned yesterday, the rematch of PSG and BYG. So very long day all said and done. Hysterics and Nightstar can have a little bit of a rest on that. But into this one, Akali, Ryze removed. I do like it. PSG banning the Ryze, saying, Bay, you do not get to play this champion. You have to do something different.
To be fair, that's also Chacha's most played. So
That's true.
That's just, I don't think they're self-banning as much as just kind of making sure that they have to play something else.
It's my head narrative, man. My head canon.
That's true. Okay, I do want to see Bay actually play a great Ahri game. I will say he has been winning all of these Ahris, but individually, his Ahri has been a bit lacking. Like, he's not been very good with the charms, so I like that they're giving him more practice time on this champion. This is one of those tempo champions that I feel like everyone has to be packing going into the postseason. For Hurricane Gaming side, they could be going for Poke, and I actually feel like Hurricane Gaming's Poke comp is their best composition by far. They can go for the Jace early. Corki is available for Cha-Cha, champions that don't require a lot of coordination.
All right, so very pokey lane. We have seen a little bit of that yesterday. The Ashe came into play as well on the other side. Juhan, definitely no stranger to this Hecarim. Wouldn't be too surprised to see him pick it up here, getting those engages on and trying to help out. But they don't need to pick it just yet. Unified has had some really solid Jinx performances, as to be expected in this split, and they are toying with the idea of picking him up the AD carry early. This bot lane already going to get a roll on. As the timer ticks down, they do allow it to go, and will we see that Hecarim for Juhan, or will it be something slightly different here? Now they're going to round out their bot lane, it seems.
I just want to remind PSG, so far they've already are about to select 3 champions, and there has been no unique champions. I've said what I needed to say very clearly. If they do not picking something unique here, they should be removed from Summer Split, okay?
You're going to file a formal complaint against PSG talent.
They still have 2 picks.
They still got 2 more picks. They got 2 more. Hey, and Hurricane might give us one of those. We'll see. We'll see. Come on, ICU. What you got? What you got for us?
Oh, no, please.
No, it's a Volibear. Come on, Olio. Where's that Echo? Where's that Olaf? Ah, well.
To be fair, he does play Divine Sunder.
That's true.
So that's kind of unique. You could say that.
He comes from the HKA Konge school of jungling.
Yeah, I feel like we're just going to see very standard bans here. Probably Lee Sin off the table. I don't feel like Hecarim actually pairs that well with Ahri overall. So Lee Sin, Xin Zhao, likely the bans coming in. For PSG side, I would definitely be taking away the Jace here. Like, the comp is pretty self-explanatory at this point. So you really don't want the counter Jace. Oh no, they're gonna go for Blind Gnar, aren't they? They're banning the Sylas.
Yeah, hey, it's a Hanabi. It's a Hanabi special, right? I mean, I like to say he's the one player in the league that's allowed to do this. He gets a pass because he wins more often than not.
Yep, that is true. That is true. You can.
I know you hate it, and I understand. I understand, Clement. But it's Hanabi.
Oh, they still ban the Hecarim. Interesting.
Oh, okay.
I feel like
this is probably Lee Sin then for Juhan, right?
Yeah, that's probably
maybe Jarvan
is better champion. Jarvan is. It's okay. I feel like the strong engage against this comp might make sense, but it is an Ezreal, so if this isn't, there probably is a mid lane pick here and then top lane pick later. So I feel like going for the Jarvan now is a little bit too. It's a little bit too risky because, Hurricane Gaming could still definitely pivot into something else. They still have the Camille to go for if they want to play it.
There we go, Cha-Cha. First Vex game of the split for him.
Ooh, this could be fun. We have seen this matchup quite a bit. Ahri and Vex dueling against each other. And, Vex, she can take a huge chunk of skill shots and still turn the matchup on her head. I feel like she has a really good matchup against Ahri, especially in team fights, just because she outranges and has that AoE fear. Okay.
All right, Juhan.
Diego.
I see what you're bringing. Ooh, okay, Hanabi.
Let's go.
Do it. Let's go. Come on, give us a Camille. That'll be a unique champion. It's going to be a new one. I think they might have heard you, Clement. And I do like the chase down potential that this gives PSG talent. And, okay. All right, I won't get excited until we get the lock in, but there's some interesting hovers going on.
Come on, Hanabi. I know you want this. Let's go. This is even better. I'm totally okay with this.
No, okay, Kennen's fine. There was a lot of stuff I was excited for. Kennen's fine. I want to see Hanabi get a Smebolt off this game though, and that is a last pick Lucian top for ICU. Okay, we got to watch that top side this game.
All right, thank you, ICU. He actually saves the draft right here and gives us something a little bit new. PSG side, this is a very standard. You just play around the Jing's composition. It's very easy to execute. Diego just waits on the side. Maelstrom, you just hold it right there. Hurricane Gaming, they are playing for a more of a poke and pick composition. They do have global with that Vex, and you should expect ICU to be able to leave lane whenever he wants to. You should be winning out that lane. Usually you do get some sustain on your build with the Lucian, and you just side lane split push. So I like the comp from Hurricane Gaming, very scrappy, skirmishy. On the other side, for PSG, I'm afraid this is more of the same. This is probably going to be a very stock standard way of just moving across the map and protecting Unify.
So how strongly worded will be your letter of contention to the league after this one, Clement? I guess it depends on the performance.
Yeah. Look, there still might be some chances I change my opinion. Like if Bay actually pops off on the Ari, I'll give them a pass. If you go Blade of the Ruin King Kennen and actually use those additional 80 ratios on 12.5,
it's a new champion for Hanabi this split. I'll say that much.
Is it really that new? Is it
not that new, but it's newer. It's newer, you know?
It's
like
better than
these other
NAR and
champions,
GP, so there you go.
Every one of these other champions, it's like they've been driving the same car, but this one's still got a little bit of the new car smell, you know? It's rolling off the lot for Hanabi. Or at least dusting it out of the garage. It's a classic. I don't know. I've got a lot of metaphors about cars, but that doesn't make sense to a whole lot of people. That's okay. Let's get on to the riff for PSG Hurricane. This one is all for fun, but it's all for pride as well. I think Hurricane would like to go out on a high note, and taking down the top of the PCS certainly would be.
Yeah, for sure. Hurricane Gaming going for a early level 1, and we have seen them do a lot of late invades this split. They do like to actually wait here sometimes and go in on the 120 mark for the potential red steal, but it looks like it will be more of a standard start this time around. Just getting the early lane ward down, trying to get some extra gold. You always want to do that on the Karma. It's kind of just free gold if you catch anyone there, so you do see a lot of teams getting the deep ward. Also making sure that they can just harass Kaiwi even if he is in brush to start off.
Yeah, it's a good start. I mean, I think we have seen Hurricane develop a little bit here, right? I mean, even though this team is out of playoffs and only has so many wins, I think we've seen them grow towards the end of the split. Just the 2 against Sem9, but that doesn't necessarily reflect the fact that this team has made a more concerted effort to play on the same page, which is difficult when you have players in different locations. We keep talking about this, but Olio and Cha-Cha don't play from the same gaming house, and it's always been a struggle for this team, even back when they were Alpha Esports. Same kind of situation there, and well, a little bit of an early move pushes them out of the brushes. The game is given up there, but we'll get the laning phase underway.
So taking a look at the early level 1, we have PSG with a much stronger map presence. They have wards on both sides, are trying to guard Ari. Ari is actually pretty easy to gank pre-level 6, so definitely don't want that to happen. Hanabi misses 2 melee minions already, which is not a good start for him, but we'll continue to watch on. No biggie. I always get so tilted when I miss the first 2 melee minions, so I always kind of point that out.
This is why I only play Singe top, man. I can't miss once I have Q. It's just dot damage.
That is true. That is true.
Yeah, big brain plays, but definitely not my meta for that one. I think for Hanabi, maybe he's just shaking off the rust, rather. We'll see what happens once this game gets a little further underway, because I think ICU will certainly force the issue on the kill pressure, and I do love to see one of these skill matchups up there. Both of these players will go for the kills when given the opportunity. Juhan on level 3, looking for Cha-Cha. He has a full bank of mana to use, and here comes the Herald Path. Oh, the charm! No. The minion MVP! Blocking it out for Cha-Cha.
Come on, Bay. Come on, Bay. Oh, what is this? This 4th or 5th Ari game? It's just... I hate to say it, but honestly, like, Ari has been one of Bay's, like, weakest champions. Even when he's constantly winning games with it, it's just... He hasn't looked very impressive on it.
I agree.
And that was
he doesn't seem as comfortable.
That's true. That was definitely a gank where they could have played super aggressively with. They had full vision of Volibear. There was no chance that Alio could actually impact that 2v2. But, you know, they don't get a flash. And honestly, I feel like they should have gotten a flash in that situation, especially with Cha-Cha being so far out in lane. A little bit of a misplay on PSG's side, but once again, no biggie. They don't really lose anything. And Alio, this time around, he does get some extra tempo. We'll set up the lane gank. I like this coming in from Alio. This is interesting. He knows that his lane is very far pushed up. There is a possibility that Juhan could come over here. So he just wants to stay around and make sure that, at the very least, ICU will get a good back off.
Yeah, ICU should be able to get a little bit more pressure on this. Not going to be able to secure a plate just yet, but definitely can try to make Nabi's life a little bit hard. And just going to put that ward down and back away. They are certainly concerned about a possible Juhan appearance up here.
You do see Juhan finally inching in between these two wards. Oh, wow. He will be spotted right now. I thought he was coming in after the timeout of the ward right there. But this is still going to put a lot of pressure on ICU.
Yeah, this actually is really helpful for Hanabi right here, just showing face, allowing the opportunity. So, correctly guessed that the back away has happened. ICU comes right back into this to try and pick it back up. And, you know, I think PSG identifying that ICU can be a threat. Certainly something they want to watch out for as he gets that Ardent Blaze into the double tap as well. And ICU has been one of those players that has game-making potential. I think Hurricane kind of excel when they're allowed to play a little bit more of a solo queue-esque style, and ICU, he's that kind of player. He wants to just get up in your face, get the kills, and then turn that into advantages on the map.
It's absolutely crazy that ICU is still gold positive in his own lane, despite the entire entirety of the map losing, which is so... Like, if you're thinking about the situation, your jungler is behind, your mid is behind, but somehow ICU still finds his leads necessary. Hurricane Gaming, in the meantime, are having a pretty good time in the bottom side. They are running a double poke lane. Ooh, good catch, but Bang2 still gets out of that one. So they have been pushing out against PSG for the majority of this game. PSG gets the push out with the jungle pressure here. Very standard play, and they will also get a good back.
I feel like a lot of the time we just talk about standard for PSG. However, that was the pickup. The arcane shift down, and Kaiwing, man, this guy just has an eye for those openings, and him and Unified combo up perfectly on the snap traps. Well played.
Yeah, the crowd control chain was beautiful as well. There was absolutely nothing Bang2 could do. He just dies even with the heal being expended right there. That was the line going into the staggering blow, into the flame chompers, just perfect combo into an insta-kill.
So, I do want to point out that Kaiwing's about to get his roam on big time because he just bought the Moby boots.
Ooh.
That is an interesting one. I'm enjoying this. I think they realized after that maybe Unified can be left alone for a little while.
Yeah, it's been a while since we actually seen the Moby boots. A lot of times people go for Swifties, they go for Ionians, or they just go for defensive boots. But Mobies has been a lost art as we have the 3v2 going up into the top side.
No one expects the surprise! Moby Nautilus as Olio is running for the hills, throws down the Sky Splitter to cover his retreat. ICU forced to back away, and they might still go for the dive. Juhan only has level 5, no access to the Heartbreaker just yet, but even with the full culling, ICU could be in some trouble. They're going to set up for this one.
Yeah, they're teaching him.
Oh boy. 4-man dive here. Here comes Bay. Who's going to get the kill? It's Kaiwing at the end of the day.
To be honest, if I was ICU, I wouldn't even bother to flash that. There was a slicing Maelstrom and 4 people coming for me. I'm just as good as dead.
I feel like somewhere in his mind he was like, I can outplay this.
Not really sure that's true. I don't think that's possible, especially with the Ari there as well.
No, I don't think he could have, but I think maybe he thought so. I don't know. Either way, this does open at least a plate here for Bang2 and Enhao, so they will be able to get some gold back for themselves. But of course, diving the Jinx is certainly going to be a little more difficult, and Kaiwing right back into lane. So really nice use of the Moby boots as soon as he picks them up to pull off a quick tour of Summoner's Rift.
Yep, they get a complete 4-man dive onto the top side. In the meantime, Cha-Cha does get a little bit of farm as well, and with this bottom lane constantly getting pushed in, I think there is a chance where Cha-Cha just leaves lane and use that Shadow Surge to tag onto Kaiwing. I feel like that would be the best target for him. And what he would need to do is for Hurricane, for Alio to come here and just kind of let him out of lane, though. So once after this wave happens, we could see that being played.
Holding it for a second. Looks like they are going to buy a bit of time. There's a back coming through here for Enhao, though, so I think if it is a trip down bottom, it might happen a little bit later. As we keep our eye down here. Unified, keeping the wave relatively even. They're going to clear away this control ward. Oh, I think they, just spotted on the sweeper the other deep ward place, so vision denied there. Meanwhile, Juhan starts off on this Rift Herald up top. This is happening in Hurricane Vision, though.
Doesn't look like here Hurricane Gamer really want a chance at 3v3 at this point. I think in 2v2s they are stronger, but in 3v3 with the Slicing Maelstrom just setting everyone up, there's a little bit too much crowd control that they don't fancy themselves going up against. So Juhan will get just a free Herald. Very powerful to start this one off. I do expect it just to be dropped mid lane. It's probably best to kind of limit where Vex can go onto the map. In the meantime, Bane 2 tries to get unified, but only gets some backline minions.
Trisha Barrage, at least they cut the wave down a little bit there. Just tries to get that poke, that harass. That's what this lane wants to do, but Unified and Kaiwing going to be able to hold on pretty well themselves. They back into mid lane, and yeah, pretty even back and forth on that one. Has allowed Chacha to roam just a little bit, but he's only going to be on ward clear duty. ICU comes up here, and it is going to be Olio coming in for the lane gank, and maybe they can bait this one as he goes in. Flash on to the ultimate for Hanabi, flashing to safety, but no! Olio jumps on top of him, and Chacha, meanwhile, is going to limp out of mid lane. So here comes the rocket.
Ooh,
can Unified clean it up? It's coming down the line, and boom! Unified!
Oh, what a good angle for that one. It actually crisscrosses the lane and would have ended up on the inside of tower as ICU tries to run away. Oh, no.
Oh, dear. Juhan picks one up, so all of a sudden, 3 kills swung in exchange on the map for Hanabi. Oh, boy.
That's just the classical Hanabi trade. He dies for the team, and the rest of the kills just get picked up one by one. It was still a very good play onto the top lane. Good bait by ICU. They did get the stun a little bit slow, so Slicing Maelstrom was able to come out and actually stun Alial before Alial was able to land his own stun. So there was a lot of extra damage put into that trade, and that's why it went poorly for the cleanup on the side of Juhan. He's still holding onto his Herald, though, so I do think he will be dropping this mid after this blue buff. Will be very strong of a play there. And we are taking a look at the items across the board now, starting to funnel in. I do think ICU should be going for the Immortal Shield Bow. Will give him a little bit more sustained power against the cannon into the top side. But, ooh, interesting. Juhan looking for the kill top instead, even without Slicing Maelstrom.
Right back in. Okay. May not be a Maelstrom, but pressure's here. The push is on. There's no flash on ICU critically, and here comes Bay on the roam. Oh, I think they are ready to snap the jaws on this one. Let's see if ICU can hold on. Fancy footwork certainly going to be required. The game's up and given. There's the stacks. He gets stunned and caught between 3. It is an ICU sandwich as Bay picks up the kill.
I just feel so bad for ICU. That has been the life for ICU, you know? Get slightly ahead in your lane, and everyone suddenly appears to just lock everything down. Unfortunately, after the blue buff, wave clear goes into the favor of Ari right there, and Bay able to roam up top. No charm even needed for that play. The Nabi just gets the stun down. It will take the first tower. And Lucian is in dire straits. This pick doesn't do as well in 5v5 team fights. It's definitely more of a lane bully champion. And I feel like his lane bullying days are over.
Yeah, a little rough here. With Olio's help, they'll be able to take down Shelly before she gets a charge on Inner, but things are starting to look a little rough up in that south side, and most of the map, let's be honest here, for Hurricane Gaming. Little under, I should say, 3,000 gold is the lead. And now Divine Sunder completed for Juhan, Rocket Belt completed for Hanabi, Mythic starting to come online across the board. Even Bay with the kill, too, is inching himself a little closer. As a Dark Seal with 4 stacks, too. I mean, we've been seeing Medjai's today. Maybe we'll get another one. As Dragon should be finished up. This is Cloud. A little bit late on the take, but it does come through here.
Oh, Hanabi's just
oh no! ICU! That's a lot of shurikens. Doesn't have the follow-through damage, but doesn't really need it. And look at this. PSG just muscling in to the Hurricane jungle and taking everything away.
It's not a good sign when your Lucian just straight up loses a flash against the Kennen coming into laning phase. ICU once again forced away from farm, and we haven't seen Chacha actually use this Shadow Surge at all. So Hurricane Gaming's greatest strength, those skirmishes with numbers advantages, is quickly diminishing. I don't think they're going to get a chance to use those combos for picks right now. PSG, we've talked about their game plan. They're just going to use their range advantage and sit in front of your towers and dare you to come into them. They have a lot of punishing abilities like the Charm, like the Slicing Maelstrom to dissuade aggressive plays onto Jinx. And I feel like we are getting to the phase where you are going to see the group more boldly, likely going to go for the Herald, and then just shift mid. And for Hurricane Gaming, I think their only recourse is to actually pick out members before PSG can fully group as a 5v5.
Yeah, I think you're right. That's going to be tough to do because PSG just plays so smart around the map and don't necessarily go wandering where they shouldn't. But maybe this team gets a little cocky. They are dipping deep into Hurricane Jungle. Olio finding himself on the wrong side of things, and that is going to be the Mistral Bolt flying, not landing anywhere. Cha-Cha, as you mentioned, has not been able to find a Shadow Surge this game. Push continues down bot side, but Unified's just holding on here by himself, and Bang2's trying to threaten, but like the kill pressure when you're running a poke lane is not quite that much if you don't have poke already landed, and they got to worry about where the heck Kaiwing is. He's certainly got some fast shoes ready for walking as he sits in that brush.
And he also has Bay behind him as well, so could be seeing a 3v4 develop as Viego also comes in. Can Bang2 run away?
Okay, nice. And how? And Bang2 able to dodge away from the hook.
I like the angle from Kaiwing. He was trying to do a prediction, but Bang2 was very smart on that play, waits for the dredge line to actually come out before deciding on where to end up, walks away from that easily, despite having zero vision into the river. Kaiwing might want to try this one again, but he's standing on a ward.
Yeah, this time they know. Unified making himself look a little bit tasty there, but Hurricane too smart for that one. Juhan does not want to take the hard path all the way in. Should have spotted or at least known that Olio was waiting and baiting. So, PSG back to the mid lane they go. Juhan and Kaiwing here to try and get some more chip damage. Maybe even take this one down. A dive could come in. ICU's here for defense with Cha-Cha, but ICU has lost out on quite a bit of farm this game. And even though he has a slight edge over Hanabi, he is not going to be nearly as useful. Gale Force as well, as he does not opt into the Immortal Shield Bow.
Ooh, so this is more of an assassin build. He can't die for the backline and just kill Unified, who still is the most fed member on the enemy team. But that just means he doesn't have much power in the side lanes whatsoever. Hanabi should be able to leave lane and have priority whenever he wants to. They're also going to take a very easy second Herald here, which should leave into the mid lane tower going down shortly. And you're just going to see the entire map shift toward the bot lane and completely decimate whatever leads Bang2 has had. Ooh,
oh dear. That is going to be the pickup onto Anyhow. Unified gets one, starts getting excited, looking for Bang2 as he dodges shot after shot and sends the rockets flying. Meanwhile, Hurricane Gaming going to have to contend with a Shelly and Juhan and Bay in the mid. This is starting to look tough. Hurricane Squad in danger being snuffed out here. Another charge gets completed. They couldn't quite finish the job. Should be able to get some serious turret damage. At this point, yeah, they can just shred this.
Yeah, and Hurricane Gaming, in terms of their team composition, they really don't have that much engaged. So it's very easy for PSG to start these sieges and start these side lane split pushes. The only member they really have to worry about, I think, is actually Cha-Cha. Like, even with Olio, it's pretty telegraphed how he's going to approach. He's probably going to ult in, flash Q, you, and you can sort of get an idea that's happening if you just see him somewhere around. So right now, PSG, I think they are shifting into a 1-3-1 strategy, and it's a very comfortable one because there's only one source of engage on Hurricane Gaming.
Yeah, I mean, it's an easy game plan when you know exactly what your opponent's capabilities are, and also just how far ahead you are, right? I mean, they're taking this one nice and slow. We talked about how the Dragon was a little bit late in this game. We're only just getting the Ocean to come up at 17.5. This should be absolutely free for PSG, but it seems like they've adopted the strategy of slow and steady wins the base.
Yeah, pretty much. They're just going to keep on stacking for Drakes. I like how they're keeping completely spread out at this point. The only way that Hurricane Gaming could have a realistic comeback is if they find a big team fight, Shadow Surge gets the reset, and they mow down multiple people. So they're not letting that happen whatsoever. Their lanes individually can push, can have priority, so they're just not even going to bother about grouping up against Hurricane Gaming. And this is sort of the problem when you're playing a semi-poke composition is if the enemy just goes for split push and can out-trade you on the side lane towers, there's not a whole lot you can do. Your comp typically doesn't have engage. So, you know, outside of landing a couple lucky shots by Bane 2 and maybe somehow getting a kill on Unified, it looks really bleak for Hurricane Gaming. There's just not much that can sway PSG.
And it's going to be even easier for PSG to move around this map because the Hex Rift comes up, so now they can just rotate up top. This is a huge numbers advantage. If Hanabi baits out Oleo and ICU for a while, they've got to know something's up here. Kaiwing and Bay actually setting up a little bit of a miniature death brush. Juhan going to wait as well, and Enhao, he knows something's waiting for him there. He has to. So, PSG, I think they gave up what probably could have been some sure kills had they made a beeline up there, but instead they try to bait out another kill out of the bottom side, the bottom lane, I should say. It doesn't end up happening.
So we'll see if PSG fall into the trap of being too safe for their own good. Yesterday, they were about 2,000 HP from rushing away the Baron, and because they didn't want to 50-50 it, they actually made some terrible decisions and gave the Baron over to the enemy team anyway, plus a couple of kills. So it's definitely a fault for teams sometimes to play way too safe, drag the game out, and allow the enemy team to find ways back into the game. I do want to see PSG playing a little bit more aggressively with the lead they have. And here we go.
Talk about aggressive. Flash into the dredge line and lines up the rocket. It was a very cinematic kill onto Enhao, but that's all they'll get out of it.
Yeah, beautiful pieces coming in from Kaiwi. They're hurting the enemy across the map. They know where they will be preemptively, and they just go for the kill right afterwards. So that was a really nice use of map mobility and priority coming in from PSG. In the meantime, we do see the team starting to converge onto the Baron. All I need from ICU is just a straight-up solo kill. Let's go.
He's going to try. Oh, Hanabi does get him on the edge of the Maelstrom. Hanabi flashes, and ICU is baited into the waiting hands of Juhan. Oh, boy.
In my heart, ICU won that.
He should have.
Hanabi did not respect the laws of the duel. He actually asked for help there. So ICU, that's 10 points to you. I have massive respect for trying. And on we go into the PSG Baron dance again.
Oh, dear. All right. Well, Nabi buys himself a shiny new Void Staff with the proceeds of that one. 20 minutes. PSG up 8 kills to 1. 8,000 gold advantage here. Baron on the Rift. Would be a lot easier for PSG to get it, but because they've been so risk-averse, I doubt that they'll start it without a recent pick, probably onto Oleo. But they can control this side of the map with relative ease.
Yeah, I feel like PSG are not going to start until they actually have secured a kill overall. Hurricane Gaming, despite their deficit, they could actually still do a lot of damage to targets inside the Baron Pit. The Arcane Barrage is magic damage, so with the magic damage shred from Baron, that could really turn the tides of war. Also, you have Shadow Surge into personal space, which is a ton of AoE magic damage as well, so I don't really see PSG chancing for it, not with the way they've played this game so far. I just think that they will continue to take away resources from Red, side jungle, and just look for opportunities as people trying to walk into some of these brushes.
Yeah. Now, there is going to be a trade of towers, but it's an outer for inner, which usually tells you the state of things for one team or the other. PSG just so fast at deleting towers off the map due to Unified's Jinx, Rapid Fire Cannon, of course. And they will actually start this Baron knowing that there's actually 2 bot side. They're going to send a rocket from Unified just to try and AoE the minions down, and actually it's perfectly aimed. The Baron, though, is down to half its hit points. Bay's going to be careful not to get caught. Nice fancy footwork there, and he nearly finds Enhao on an Orb of Deception. So while the inner tower does go down, PSG opt for the trade here.
Yep, and PSG walk away with everything. You know, Bay chunks down Enhao, is able to survive Cha-Cha and his Shadow Surge, and there wasn't really much disruption. Hurricane Gaming, I felt like they did a calculated gamble, which was that PSG maybe are too risk-averse. They had 2 people taking down all of the towers in the bottom lane, which is a sizable chunk of gold. But PSG, they called the bluff. They said, you know what, if you're going to play us like that, we're just going to take the Baron. It's pretty much free anyway. It's not like we are afraid of potentially chancing things.
Take the Baron they do. 5 members strong. Losing in their tower for it, but relatively easy for them to continue cleaning things up across this map here as Juhan just finds a very free dragon. Yeah, okay, it was nowhere near going down there. True Shot Barrage, a little bit of a sniff there. Fang2 is hoping to optimistically find an opportunity, but doesn't end up happening. So Drake stack building, like I said, a little bit slower than it needed to be, but PSG landed out nice and safe. A as well, not going to sniff too far into enemy territory on the top side. Meanwhile, the inner goes down in the bottom lane, and it's going to be inhibitor turrets. Flame Choppers preemptively thrown out. Unified does get hit by the Mantra Q, but they can shred waves pretty easily.
This will be a small gold win. Ooh.
Okay, that's going to be the ultimate, and into Bang2. They find the kill. That's going to open up the base right here, and ICU and Olio might be pushing, but they are losing their own base. They've got to back away, Clement.
No hesitation from Juhan, the flash in. Really well done there to get the kill just off the hook. In the meantime, we also see Ari being able to chase away 2 members on the side of Hurricane Gaming. So this is looking like a double inhibitor take already as, oh man, Bay continuing the chase just makes it so hard for Hurricane Gaming to actually get back into their own base.
Drops the back, some ICU. ICU's going to try to outplay him here. That is a lot of double taps. Can he at least get the Ari for his trouble? And he can! ICU at least can claim the kill. A big shutdown. Only about 200 on the bounty, but still a lot better than what he's had this game.
Beautiful play there from Bay, from ICU. Bay already has expended his ultimate on the previous play. Hanabi,
I think he
does attack ICU with the rocket belt. He has nowhere to go.
ICU has absolutely nowhere, and man, Hanabi even hits him with the Flash Wolves at the end.
I feel the pain of ICU. He's really trying his hardest to get this game off the ground here, but so far nothing is working, and PSG are looking at a Baron plus a Hextech Drake Soul split on the map happening in about 3 minutes. If I'm PSG, I don't want to trade any of this. I'm probably just going to set up for Baron play in the meantime, force the fight out of Hurricane Gaming, and then I want to go for both.
You got 2 inhibitors down. All you got to do is keep the pressure on in PSG. I mean, it's just like clockwork that they can just repeat this over and over again without presenting too much of a target. Hurricane have managed to get a few scraps this game, and Bay being one of them, but it just doesn't matter. They're waiting, setting up a death corridor, as it were, just outside the base gate. As Hanabi baits, Sky Splitter hits him, doesn't really care about it, and oh, he's not close enough. Now the flash into the engage, they wanted it, and that's going to be the full back away here as Enhao going to be the target. Doesn't go down. Nevertheless, here's the turn. Kaiwing falls. ICU sets this one up. Hanabi into the back line, and it's a massive maelstrom. Olio survives for a handful of seconds as ICU and Cha-Cha will get melted, and I think this has got to be game over.
Yeah, ICU trying to run away. Dodges from the zap, but Juhan is in close pursuit. There's also a red on Unified. He can't get away from the wall far enough. Dies in Super Mega Death Rocket, and PSG will crush Hurricane Gaming. This was a pretty quiet game from them all around, but they still showcase why they are on top of the PCS.
Just gonna wait for that final kill to go through. Let the ace happen for Juhan and finish the fight. PSG, all smiles. They can take themselves a win. And yeah, and it was just the game plan. I think Hurricane, they didn't have too much to play for there, so they're not too busted up about the loss, but they are officially done with the spring split. But for PSG, a nice couple weeks of vacation, maybe a bit of training, and then right onto the Rift again with that #1 guaranteed seat.
Yeah, bot lane winning out earlier on. They did find just the solo 2v2 kills onto the side of Bang2. Kaiwing again getting some of those flashy hooks. He does this a lot of time. This is kind of like the PSG strategy where they will pretend they're backing, but they're actually still in the brush with their duo, and that's how a lot of their solo kills actually come from. Once the bot was snowballed, they were able to transition in mid, get a triple Herald charge on the second one, and they were just so far ahead at that point that they could turn for Baron after the play.
I feel like Kaiwing competes with Kino for who can get the most aggro engages sometimes. It's really fun to watch those two.
It definitely is. I feel like the good thing about all of our top supports is they're all aggressive players. We don't have the super defensive plays coming out from each side. It's all blood for the blood god type of play there. And that's the type of play I enjoy in PCS.
Absolutely. So the best teams are able to do it. I think it should probably tell you something about the state of the league. And the state of things, not much has changed after that one because this wasn't affecting the playoff picture whatsoever. It was all for fun. And yeah, PSG didn't really show any cards. I would like to see, after they have a couple weeks away, what else they can bring, what they can surprise other teams with. And I mean, everybody knows they have to watch on the map rotations. You have to be able to play a smart game against PSG, but you're not going to be able to outsmart them. And that's what has been so tough. Teams have really only found edges by just getting that snowball on. We saw it with Beyond. We saw it with CFO. Maybe other teams can find that, and we have a few more games to play today to see if these teams can flex a bit of muscle there, riding on the playoff picture, I should say. But yeah, for this game, I think Hurricane, they tried for a few things. They just never really got presented a target, and that is kind of the PSG special.
Yeah, I felt like they had a good lead in the bottom side of the lane. Usually double poke lane against the melee of Nautilus, you are going to get a lot of chances to actually get tower chip in. But unfortunately, they weren't able to move any of the rest of the pieces successfully to the bottom side. We saw Bay, despite kind of fumbling some of those charms, he was still in full control of his lane, could push in wherever we want to. Vex never got a Shadow Surge into the bot lane, only into the later game team fights that we actually see that ultimate even exist. And top lane was just dove consistently. 2 dives earlier, ICU down starting 0-3. There was really nothing he could do. It was just kind of vision game from PSG, making correct decisions on where to go onto the map, and that was enough to triumph over Hurricane Gaming without even any hard-fought battles. There was no pitch battles coming into this game. It was a one-sided slaughter and just one-sided catch from start to finish.
One exception, though, had to be ICU finally getting himself a kill, try-harding so much to get that pickup, and he did find Bay. And I do love this guy's mechanics. I do love the fighting spirit that he brings. It's just such like unbridled aggression, but also like he even though he's a top laner, he kind of feels like an old school like double lift or something like that. Like he just loves to go and make the plays. He's got a little bit of the Uzi eye for the kill as well. Sometimes maybe they should shift him down bot side. Who knows?
Honestly,
he's not a bad Lucian.
I would love to see ICU on a team where most of his other members are actually even. Like I feel like if a team was just even in the jungle position, ICU would be crushing it in the league. He's already doing it without a jungler. And he's already positive in his own lane. So
get this man a team is what you're telling me. Yeah, I agree. I think he's, you know what? After that game, I'm willing to concede to you that ICU is probably the best player on the squad. Bang 2, he tried. I think Ezreal, didn't give him enough of a chance to do the damage, but all the same, ICU did a great job with what he could do. Considering that's how much damage he got off, and he was just constantly dove under tower, it would be unfair to look at his KDA.
It definitely would. I feel like Bane 2 has shown a lot of affinity for this Ezreal pick. They are willing to just first rotation pick it a lot of times, so maybe that is an area where they could hone in onto. I would actually prefer them to see a kind of a weak side Ezreal play and focus more on ICU. In the meantime, MVP goes to Kaiwing.
Let's go.
The bot lane, the support MVPs. I love the way that he was able to get those hooks on to Bang 2 across the minion waves. And people playing against PSG, please always remember this. If they are making obvious back right in front of you, that means they're actually in the brush. They didn't go at all.
Bait. Yeah,
PSG so many times.
Such mind games, but Kaiwing, the mastermind in this one, does set up for some flashy dredge line plays, enabling his team to absolutely pop off in a well-earned win. So that's the last time we get to see PSG for a couple of weeks, but when they come back, it is going to be a whole lot. And speaking of breaks, we're going to go on one as well. When we return, Meta Falcon team are looking to take on Beyond Gaming, so don't go anywhere. You won't want to miss it.